Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see, I haven't uploaded much since summer ended, but school has been absolutely super busy, so that is why, obviously. Today's video is going to be a long overdue sort of back to school video that I had planned. I was going to do a haul as well, but that didn't end up happening, so hopefully you'll see some of the items that I bought in future videos. With that aside, today is going to be my kind of back to school / everyday fall makeup. So I will say specifically where I usually stop for school makeup and then continue with the rest of my makeup. So like when I don't want to do a full face, I say kind of like, okay, this is where I usually stop for school. And then I'll continue on and show you what the rest of my makeup looks like. I don't wear as much makeup to school. Sometimes I don't even go in with any at all. Like this morning before I came home and started filming, I wasn't wearing any makeup in school. Like if you're in post-secondary, you understand. People just don't care. So yeah, I hope you guys find this enjoyable and helpful in some way, shape, or form, and I will be back in a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a primer. This is the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer from the drugstore, and we're just gonna apply this all over the face like you normally do with a foundation primer. Start at my T-zone, and then whatever is left goes to my cheeks. Next, I'm going to move right into foundation. Lately, I've been using the matching foundation, so the Rimmel Stay Matte Liquid Mousse Foundation. I've been wearing the shade 100 Ivory, which is a little bit dark for me, but I can still get away with it this time of year at least. So this comes out like a mousse. It's supposed to be a similar product or even a dupe for the Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo foundation, but the Kat Von D foundation does not come in a shade light enough for me. So I decided to try this one instead. And I'm applying it, as always, with my Real Techniques blending sponge, my favorite way to apply foundation. This stuff I would say is medium to full coverage, and I think it works pretty well. I like how it's not super drying like some mattifying foundations. Yeah, I've been really liking this for the past little while. I'm going to apply a little bit more because lately my skin has been freaking out, and I'm going to be explaining that in a video soon, so stay tuned for that. Still not really fully sure why it's freaking out the way it is, but more on that later. Okay, so next I'm going to be using concealers. The one I've been using for redness around my face, that type of thing, is from Revlon. This is the Revlon Color Stay Concealer in the shade 01 Fair. And for under my eyes, as usual, I've been using this for months. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer in Fair. So I usually start with my under eyes. And what I like to do is draw big triangles under my eyes like this. And I take the pointy end of my Real Techniques sponge and I start stippling this in. And then once I've evenly dispersed the product as much as I can with the sponge, then I start going in with my finger and just kind of blending it out to make sure there's not any super heavy spots that aren't blended or streaks or anything like that. And next I'm going to take the Revlon Color Stay. Now today I have a bit of redness around my nose because I'm starting to get sick, if you can't tell by my voice. And I'm going to apply it over some spots of some recently active acne. Story of my life. And then I just stipple this in with the sponge as well. This concealer isn't that great at completely camouflaging acne, but it is good at reducing the redness. Like, it doesn't look red there anymore. Up close you can still tell there's a few spots there, but at least it's not like bright red on my chin. The next step that I like to do usually is brows. Lately I have been using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in Soft Brown. This is my favorite brow pencil. I don't even have the desire to go look for another one, just because I love the color of this and the thinness of the pencil. It's just so easy to use. So I'm just taking a lash comb and combing through my brow hairs just to put them all in the right direction. And then I start filling them in. Now I'm just going to take the spoolie on the other end and run that through to help blend out any harsh areas of color. So my next step is usually to set the under eye concealer and all the foundation in place. So I've been using the Physicians Formula powders now for at least a year. This one is the Mineral Wear Talc Free mineral face powder. This is just considered translucent, but it does have a bit of color to it. And I take a Real Techniques brush for this. This is the setting brush, which is the small pink one. It kind of looks like a mini blush brush to me. So I just take a little bit of that powder and I rub it underneath my eyes. I find this step really helps keep your under eye concealer in place. Makes a huge difference. And next I'm going to take the exact same powder and I'm going to use a MAC 134 brush to set the foundation. Sometimes I do circular motions, sometimes I do stippling motions. There's no real pattern to it for me. So now we're at the point where for just school makeup, this is normally where I stop. Sometimes I will go ahead and apply a bit of mascara, and sometimes I'll put on a bit of lip balm, but other than that, I'll just put on some setting spray and I'm good to go. So yeah, that would be my basic like school makeup, basically eyebrows and foundation. But now we're gonna get into what is usually my everyday makeup, continuing with it outside of school. So continuing on with the rest of what I'd consider my daily routine for a full face of makeup now, I'm gonna apply some lip balm. This is a great one to wear under lipstick. This is from Indigena. It's their Smooch Lip Balm, which is like coconut oil and essential orange oil. So good. Highly recommend that lip balm. It's awesome. And once I get that lip balm on my lips and it's starting to sink in, I'm going to go ahead and apply some eyeshadow primer. The one I've been using is the Mary Kay eye primer. I used this in the past, back when I first started my channel. I was using this as well. And I'm on my last tube of it now. It's a great everyday primer. But when I'm going out, I still use my NARS primer because that one is slightly more strong or powerful, whatever you want to call it. But for every day, the Mary Kay one works perfectly fine. Now, I like to let this primer sink in a little bit before I start going in with eyeshadows, so I'm going to go ahead and start contouring, blush, and highlighter. I've been using this bronzer for contour like all summer, and I'm still using it now all the way through September. This is the NARS Laguna bronzer. And I like to take this on a Quo face contour brush from Shoppers Drug Mart. So just apply a bit of that to this angled brush, and I don't really do anything particular. I just kind of find the hollow of my cheek there and do a few strokes downwards like this on an angle. I don't like putting my contour too far down. I find it looks more natural on my face shape if I apply it like right here and then blend it down a bit like this. And I stop like about here. I just kind of blend that out afterwards. Sometimes if I want to look extra sun-kissed, I will go ahead and apply a bit some to my temples. Same brush, same bronzer. Just like apply a little bit right there. And then just to make sure that everything is well blended in terms of bronzer, I take a little bit more of that bronzer on a large fluffy powder brush from Eco Tools. And I just kind of do the E3 motion and blend in circular motions over my contour. And then a little bit on my neck too. Next I'm going to do blush. The one I've been using lately is Gorgeous. This is from Milani Cosmetics. This is their Powder Rose Blush in 08 Tea Rose. It's like a beautiful, soft, more of a dusty rose color compared to what I wear in the summer. A little bit of this goes a long way, so I'm just taking the slightest amount of powder out of the palette, or the compact, and I'm putting that right on the apples of my cheeks right here. And I use the MAC 116 brush, as I always have. Next up is highlighter. This is the one I've been using the most on a daily basis. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in a dim light. I just have the baby version. It's so cute. I love it. And I just take this on that Real Techniques setting brush that I set my under eye concealer with, because I don't have a separate one for highlighter yet. And I just kind of apply that to right above the apples of my cheeks, right about here, and I bring it up my temple as well. It just gives this beautiful natural sheen. Oh, love it. So now we're going to go back to the eyes. There are two different palettes that I kind of reach for on a weekly basis. Depends on what I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I use the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette, and sometimes I use the Urban Decay Naked 3. For this video, I'm going to use the Too Faced Natural Eyes because I want something a little bit darker in my crease. I'm going to take the very upmost right shade here. It's called Heaven on a 213 MAC brush, and I'm just going to use that as a brow bone highlight. Next, I'm going to take Cashmere Bunny, which is just to the right of Heaven. And I'm going to use this as a crease color. I'm applying this using a smudger brush from Still Spa Essentials. This is one of the brands you can get at Walmart in the makeup section for brushes, and it's super inexpensive, so it's a great way to build up your brush collection without spending a ton of money. Because I gotta say, for $3, I really do get my money's worth out of this because I use it pretty much every day. Then I wear eyeshadow, obviously. I've gotten into this habit of applying my crease color first. I'm not really sure how that began, to be honest, up until about 2 months ago. I'd always start with my lid color and then do my crease after, but lately I've been doing my crease first. For my lid color, I'm going to be using Silk Teddy. This is right below Heaven in the palette. And I'm going to be using this damp because I find this looks so much better when you add like a dampening medium to it. Today I'm going to be using MAC Fix Plus. If you don't own Fix Plus, you can still use like a setting spray or even some water if you don't own those either. And you'll get a very similar effect. But just look how bright that shadow looks with Fix Plus. It is so awakening for the eyes. So just make sure to get this all around my lash line because that's when you actually see it. And I'm also just taking some of the excess and applying that to my inner corner just because I had a little bit left on my brush. So now I'm going to kind of blend out that harsh line between my lid and my crease. I'm going to mix Cashmere Bunny, which I used in my crease, and the light nude shade from the bottom called Nudie. I'm taking it on this fluffy blending brush from Lise Watier, and I'm just going to blend my crease like that. As if I am applying color, but I'm not really applying much color. Almost done. Now I'm at the point where I normally do my setting spray. So lately I've been actually mixing 2 different ones together. I've been mixing the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Makeup Extender Setting Spray and the Urban Decay De-Slick Makeup Setting Spray, just because when I use this one alone it's been a little bit too drying, so I'd like to add this one in for a tiny bit more moisture. So now I only have 2 steps left, mascara and lipstick. For mascara, I've been using the CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume again. I started using this in high school, so I used it throughout like grade 10 to 12. And then I kind of expanded out and tried a bunch of new mascaras, and I haven't gone back to it since. So I decided to repurchase it there at the beginning of September. And I've been using this for the past month. Okay, last but not least, we have lipstick. There are 2 different lipsticks that I've been kind of alternating for the month of September, so it's kind of like my 2 go-to fall lipsticks this year. They're very similar. First one is the Creamy Matte lipstick from Maybelline, Touch of Spice, very, very popular shade for fall and winter, just a great darker neutral. And very similar to that, but slightly pinker and slightly deeper in terms of pigment, is the MAC Amorous lipstick. This is one of their satin lipsticks. I bought this in Calgary in February and I've missed it all summer because it's such a beautiful color. So I can't decide which one I want to put on for this. I'm going to go with Amorous by MAC. And yeah, that is the finished look. Very just simple and basic with a bit of a darker lip than what I normally do in the summer. So yeah, that is everything for this tutorial today. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed already, definitely hit that button down below. And make sure you follow me on social media so you always know what's going on in my life. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!